Let's take a quick look at the latest COVID numbers in our state. As COVID-19 cases continue to increase in the region, the city of Bend is asking visitors, please don't come here. Central Oregon has recorded its first death potentially linked to COVID-19. From desks 6 feet apart to hand washing every time students enter the classroom, learning in the fall is going to look a little different than what we're used to. Today, Rashard Brooks is being laid to rest in Atlanta after being shot and killed by police on June 6th. Some in the Central Oregon community have expressed concern over the city of Bend's decision to hire Michael Krantz as Bend's next chief of police. The Forest Service will increase fire restrictions for industrial operations due to drying conditions. Saturday's rally here on Peace Corner in Bend was loud and well attended, but attendees say it was also peaceful. That wasn't the case for every rally that took place in Central Oregon over the weekend. This was Michaela Conley's car just after the driver of a pickup truck allegedly ran a stop sign at the Tumalo intersection of the Old Bend-Redmond Highway. In July of 2016, 23-year-old Kaylee Sawyer was assaulted and murdered here on the Central Oregon Community College campus. The city of Bend has officially asked people to stop visiting and for hotels to refrain from taking new bookings through Labor Day. Donovan's donation of his heart, lungs, pancreas, kidneys, and liver will ultimately help 6 others to continue to live. From desks 6 feet apart to hand washing every time students enter the classroom, learning in the fall is going to look a little different than what we're used to.
6 feet between kids this way and this way.
Social distancing. Stringent personal hygiene.
Students will be able to use this space before lunch, after recess to wash their hands, keep sanitary.
All changes parents and students can expect if they return for in-person learning at Redmond area schools in the fall.
Wearing masks will really come down to what the Oregon Health Authority recommends. We're purchasing masks for all staff members as well as face shields.
The first week of school, we really plan on spending a lot of time teaching kids why we're doing this, why it's important.
The school district will be releasing videos like this one to help parents and students better understand school rules and regulations.
At our elementary schools, K-5, we're going to try and have the students in with us every day.
Klein says there will be around 24 students per classroom with an overflow area provided for digital learning. Students will also be in cohorts to limit interaction with other students.
Teachers will rotate to them where possible.
Secondary schools will operate slightly differently, with half of the student body coming in one day and the other coming in on another day. Though plans could change before they are submitted next month, the focus remains on how to provide safe in-person learning.
We are so excited to have our kids back. We want them back in our classrooms so we can teach them, we can love on them, and we're really hopeful that we can get as many kids back in the classroom as possible.
The school district says they're planning to hear from the Department of Education tomorrow with updated guidance for the fall. Anyssa Bohanan reporting for Central Oregon Daily News. In July of 2016, 23-year-old Kaylee Sawyer was assaulted and murdered here on the Central Oregon Community College campus by a former campus security officer. Now, 4 years after her death, her family and the college have reached a $2 million settlement, but her family says they aren't satisfied with the outcome.
If all we had was the conclusion of this civil suit, I think it would be an insult to what we've gone through. It would be extremely disheartening.
The last 4 years have been a long journey for members of Kaylee Sawyer's family. In January of 2018, Kaylee's murderer, Edwin Lara, pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole. In May of 2019, legislation named after Kaylee, meant to protect students and citizens by clearly defining the role of campus public safety employees, was signed into law. A year later, they reached an agreement to end any further litigation with the college.
Kaylee's law ended up forcing the change that needed to happen, whereas if we ended up with this right now and we had no Kaylee's law, I'm very confident that college would have never or unlikely to have made the changes that were required.
Both the college's president and board chair put out statements sending their thoughts and deepest sympathies to the family and friends of Kaylee Sawyer and explaining that the safety and well-being of our students, employees, and community are paramount to the college.
It's like hold your breath for 3.5 years and then all of a sudden it's, oh, that's it?
It happened so fast that I don't think we fully processed it.
Despite what Sawyer says feels like an anticlimactic ending, they are satisfied that they gave Kaylee a voice.
We managed to have 2 miraculous things come of this, which makes her life even that much more purposeful, which gives you a little bit of solace that you've done your part, and she had purpose.
And that her legacy will live on.
4 years and we're still talking about her. Us, it will always be. I think our legacy is don't forget what happened.
Tomorrow will mark 4 years since Kaylee Sawyer's death. Early Wednesday morning, Donovan Williams underwent surgery not to keep him alive, but to give an incredible gift to a half a dozen others hoping to live. The 14-year-old was involved in an ATV accident over 4th of July weekend that left him on life support at St. Charles Bend, unlikely to recover from his injuries. But Donovan's donation of his heart, lungs, pancreas, kidneys, and liver will ultimately help 6 others to continue to live.
When you do register as a donor, you do have the potential to save up to 8 lives and improve close to another 100 people's lives.
Donate Life Northwest has managed Oregon's donor registry for 45 years and helped thousands of patients. 877 Oregonians are currently waiting for a life-saving transplant.
For every person that registers as a donor, that lessens the waiting list, that brings more hope to people who are waiting for that life-saving transplant.
In order for someone to donate organs in Oregon, they must pass away in a hospital. Though it could take 2 or 3 days to find an organ match, once surgery takes place, the process of procuring organs happens quickly. Recipients of an organ from St. Charles will likely be in the Northwest, since the organ must be transplanted within just a few hours.
They don't tell the recipients that they aren't even a match until literally they're headed to the OR.
Though the process of losing a loved one is difficult for families, there is often some solace in knowing that they have helped to save someone else.
It just chokes me up every time I think about it. Extremely amazing process that families go through in a very short period of time to go from the original crisis that's created the opportunity to the gift that's given.
They may have had this tragic loss, but something really good was able to come from it. Knowing that they were able to make that ultimate gift is just really amazing.
A GoFundMe for Donovan's family raised tens of thousands of dollars in less than a week. They've established an account at Selco titled In Memory of Donovan Williams to continue helping to support his family. How well did social distance learning go this year? Well, it depends on who you ask.
There were some kids, unfortunately, who I guess it didn't feel like school, so they chose not to do school. Some kids flourished.
It was very difficult to get my kids to focus at home. They really needed that school structure environment.
It was very challenging at first, but because the teachers in the district and at the schools have been so good, it turned out to be really, really a positive experience.
And that online learning could continue into the fall. Redmond schools launched a district-wide survey Tuesday for parents to express what they'd like to see next school year.
We think parent voice and partnership during this time is really important, so we can be responsive and not assume where their comfort level is or where their interests lie.
Burke says they do expect to have more students interested in full-time online learning come the fall.
We're working on ways to create a robust online option and expand that in Redmond.
For parents and educators who want more in-person interaction, it's a tough discussion about ensuring students' safety and wanting them to return to the classroom.
I think I would definitely like to be back in the schools.
I think that a hybrid option would work best for elementary school kids. The social interaction piece is really important.
I just like to see them go back to school. I just don't know the definite solution. 30 plus kids in this little room, 6 feet apart is really difficult.
I would like there to be an option for students and parents that would prefer being able to do some things at home.
Though plans could change even after school is in session, most are just hoping for some kind of middle ground.
Ideally, that's what we want in the fall is something that's going to work for kids and something that's going to work for staff and parents as well.
For a long time, we kind of felt like we were in a bubble and we were going to be okay and COVID-19 wasn't going to come to our community. It's here.
It's here, 100 new cases since June, and city officials are hoping to stop it from spreading by asking visitors to stay home.
The issue I have is the fact that we're putting a Band-Aid on something right now.
Bend City Councilor Chris Piper says he opposed the order not because he doesn't agree that we should discourage tourists, but to have more discussion for a more long-term solution.
It's important that the leaders of not only Bend but the other communities around Bend in Central Oregon, Redmond, Prineville, Sisters, Madras, all get together and have a consistent message, and then work with the websites that are promoting tourism into the Central Oregon region, including Bend, about what they're going to be faced when they come here.
There won't be any enforcement or penalty for the order. In a statement to Central Oregon Daily News, Visit Bend says they fully support the reinstatement of travel restrictions and is adding additional messaging on their website, instilling the importance of staying home and staying safe. For some Bend residents, tourism is a double-edged sword.
You know, living here, I see a lot of different types of folks coming, and they're all practicing different, whether they're wearing masks or not wearing masks. And I think there's a lot of folks that live here that are worried about that becoming a problem. But then from the business stance, it's hard because there's folks that live here that own businesses and that rely on that.
We love the tourists here, and I think financially for Bend, we really want them to come and we really want them here. It's good for our small businesses. But I just hope they wear their masks, and I hope they wash their hands, and I hope they don't bring their big city germs into our town.
We need to tell tourists that COVID-19 is now in our town, and they need to know it, and they need to be aware of it. And we need to tell tourists that they're not necessarily welcome right here. And for those people who are here, we need to be really clear that they need to begin to follow the protocol, or we'll have to tighten it up anymore.
The new order is expected to be ratified on August 5th. Anyssa Bohanan reporting for Central Oregon Daily News.